All right, all right, all right. Can you guys hear me? Let's start there because yesterday was stupid. 5x5. Thank you. Gringo, Dobie, Raccoon, thank you for the 5x5. Patrice, Base, Dan Phillips, thank you for the 5x5. Appreciate it, guys. All right. Flown Grown, Martin, Kimberly, Amanda, Valva Media, Base Bunny, Tish here, Lexi, Groundhog, Bush Pig, Maria, Cowboy, Lolita, thank you for the 5x5. Gregorio, Coach, thank you for the 5x5. David, City Prepper, Steve, Francine, Joseph, NYC, Krista, thank you for the 5x5. Sursa, CC, Wallace, Robert, Mary, Dan, WTC, Cobalt, Matthew, thank you for the 5x5. Yarn, first and last. Sunshine, thank you for the 5x5. Zorro, thank you for the shop 5x5. City Prepper, yes. Do me a favor, email me at angryprepper@yahoo.com. Thank you. So we could do a show together. Incognito, Crow, Texas, Callista, thank you for the 5x5. Gringo, Uptech, Jerry, Sarita, thank you for the 5x5. Live Free or Die. Dr. D, thank you for the 5x5. Oh, T is here. Sorry. I don't know why it says Tish here. Whatever. Sorry. Thank you for the 5x5. Brandon, thank you for the 5x5. Visit, appreciate it. All right, all right, all right. And let's see. What are we doing on Raccoon Eyes, Prep to Adapt, and Maria Jackson? Thank you for the 5x5 on Rumble. Appreciate it. All right. So listen, I was going to talk about 3i Atlas again. I had more information on this meteor. Now, this information, as of right now, is rumor, but it sounds really good. So I guess next Tuesday we'll talk about it before we all die. I will talk about 3i Atlas a little more. I got like a ton of new information about it. And there was a lot of stuff. In fact, there were scientists that were being reassigned from the 3 Atlas, I guess, not investigation, but research facility, right? And a few of them were reassigned. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And there's a lot more with 3i Atlas than they're telling us, obviously. But again, a lot of it seems to be rumor, and some of it is facts that they're not stating anything on. They're not telling us about. So I looked up some of it. Listen, even Google AI lies to us. I mean, it's bananas, but whatever. I am sure of it. Are we dying next week? Johnny 308, we possibly could be. Who knows? I, I don't know. I don't know anymore. Um, I don't know anymore. There's too much shit going on. Christina Gomez channel covers the 3 Atlas well. Very good. But I'm going to take another crack at it next week. But I'm gathering more information about it. And there's a lot of good shit. With at least this one, I wish I would have did this information last night. But whatever. Tonight, we're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? Oh, the more chatter on the, I guess, attacks that's, headed our way. There's a lot more chatter in the last few weeks, and some people seem to think that whatever is going to happen is going to happen over the holiday seasons. So yeah, turkey dinners could be ruined, Christmas trees could be burnt to the ground. Who knows? There's a lot of shit. And listen, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I haven't a clue as to what exactly is going to happen. I'm not going to lie to you guys and tell you, well, I got a confidential reporter. No, I don't know shit, dude. Zero. When California, Gavin, California plans to succeed. China will help with the resources. Stevie, is that right? I got to look that up. That can't be. That No, that can't be. The Chinese were only using a simple. Yeah, I mean, is that stating that the Chinese president told the Chinese governor that they'll help them succeed with resources? That did. Let me say, even if the Chinese president said that to the California governor, there is no way that would happen. That is an act of war. Like he can't. There's no way China can help them succeed. It wouldn't happen, and that's. I mean, California it would take hell and high water for them to succeed from us. It wouldn't happen. No country. Sorry, no state has the balls to do that. They just don't. And California succeeding from America and giving it to China. You know how many? Listen, there are Democrats that are retarded, but they're not that retarded, right? Again, and they understand that. Yeah, this the succession. I guess that's how you would say it. It's not going to happen. I'm not worried about it at all. I don't see any country doing it. I know Texas was talking about it, and at one point I was like, yeah, Texas ain't doing it either. Who the fuck are they kidding? None of these countries are doing this shit. They're all full of fucking garbage, man. I mean, should countries succeed? No, absolutely not. It's just a bad idea across the board, man. Just a bad idea. It doesn't solve issues either. It makes matters worse. Look at the Civil War. They thought succeeding was going to be a good thing. We're going to fight to the end. That got them nowhere. You know, got a couple people paid, got a lot of dudes killed. Ultimately, it didn't solve our problems. You know. So again, China. I like that. China is. I know, like I heard Canada is selling out to the Chinese. Again, I do not know how true that is. I don't follow Canadian politics that well. I only know it enough that Tudoroso is supposedly dating Katy Perry. Listen, he's doing that so that the gaydar thing goes fucking down because the guy is fucking. He's clearly a fucking hoo-hoo, you know. Road Warrior, I heard that. I heard that Bear seemed a little more serious in his stream. He seemed a little more concerned. I just did a video on that, the concerning of what's going on. I didn't mention his name in that video, but yes, we are, unfortunately. All right. But yes, there's a lot going on. And listen, guys, again, it doesn't matter. You know, what's going to happen is going to be scary, that's for sure. What's going to happen is definitely not going to be fun. We are undoubtedly going to be in uncharted territories if this does happen. If anything goes down, this is going to throw the United States in a tizzy. So now I have somewhat of a theoretical breakdown of what's going to happen. We're going to discuss that in a little bit tonight. But it's almost like a step-by-step of the actions that will go down should something happen. But I don't see, I don't know. I don't see this, if it does go down, again, there's nothing we can do about it. A lot of you people do not live in the city, so that's less of you guys to worry about this kind of shit. And, if you live in the sticks, if you will, and this attack happens, at the very least, you got a nice heads up of what's to come. If anything does come your direction, I don't think it does. I don't think it's going to head your way. I think it's going to stay in the city. I think a lot of these, and there might be people to come in and help. I don't know. But the problem is, as soon as they lock off the bridges, let's just say Manhattan, they lock off the bridges, then what? No one's going to be able to help New Yorkers. We're on our own because those bridges are going to be locked down come hell or high water. It's going to be the attackers or the guards locking it down. So who knows? War Donkey, we're going to talk about that in a little bit as to what exactly is going to go down. And again, this is all theory, right? This is all speculation, sorry. This is all speculation. We don't know exactly what or when, but more and more people are getting nervous. So Bear wasn't the only one. There's a couple more people that are on the internet that seem concerned. I don't. Zero info of a New York City attack. City Prepper says zero info of a New York City attack. Again, I haven't heard anything. I know some people, not a lot, but I haven't heard anything definite or definitive, rather, right? I haven't heard anything either. But these people seem to know more. Whatever. You know, I mean, Canadian Prepper, I'm pretty sure if you guys tune into his channel, he's telling you right now that America, you know, that New York City's burning as we speak. Who knows? You know, what he's going to say. But I haven't heard anything definitive. I know that the talk has always been since 9/11, but I tell you this, if we are of a nation that is greatly hated throughout the world, right? Supposedly we're greatly hated. And they attacked the country once, just one time. Listen, if you had a hate for this country, you would be going after this country numerous times a year. Some would be successful, some wouldn't be. But they went at it just that one time. These dudes that live in the desert were like, oh, let's get some planes. Oh, no, let's hit those buildings. Get the fuck out of here. Those towel heads had no fucking idea that they were going to do this. There was way more into that operation than we think. And the fact, guys, that, again, it was one time. Then you had, like, little bullshit attacks happen, or the guy that blew up his, nether regions because he put some kind of device in his pants and then it went off in the subway system. People like, that could have been bad. Yeah, he blew his dick off. That's bad for him. That was really bad. But outside, the guy with the shoe thing, the shoe device in his shoe that he was going to try to, detonate on a plane. If you hate this country, you're definitely, utterly going to go after it multiple times. Not every so often. Oh, the next time they do this is probably going to be in a couple years when they regroup. Regrouping for what? What is this, a hockey team? The stupidity that I heard was fucking out of control. Oh, they're going to do it again. They're going to do it in a couple years. Get bent. Listen, for the doggies. Someone mentioned Sarah Adams. I don't trust Sarah Adams either. I mean, granted, listen, she knows more than I do in regards to that, or she might know more than I do in regards to that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I fucking know for a second. I don't. But there are too many YouTubers that, like, my inside sources. The inside sources on a lot of shit, man, miss. I don't know. The dewanked. It was just, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to go on next. I can't tell you. The whole peace in the Middle East shit, that's not going to, that's not going to go anywhere. That's actually like bullshit. That's the worst bullshit I've ever seen. And I think, again, I said it before, I'll say it again, they did all of that just to get him a Nobel Peace Prize. They're like, oh, well, he had peace for 24 hours. He should get something. No, he shouldn't. Fuck that. And not for nothing, I don't understand why it takes another president from any country to step in and be like, yo, we're going to stop this bullshit. We're going to stop this tomfoolery. We're gonna follow my lead, and then we're gonna sign this document, and you're gonna stop war. Why can't they handle their own shit? Why does any other country butt in? Like the Russian Ukraine, you had other countries that are trying to get them to the peace table to talk. I think France was involved. I'm like, let Russia and Ukraine talk it out. That's their fucking problem. Israel and the whole Middle East, let them solve that shit. If Israel gets wiped off the map, I do not give a shit. I don't care. I don't care if Gaza is in complete ashes. Do not care. It's not our problem. Let those two hash it out. For us to sit here and be like, oh, well, we got to step in. No, we don't. No, we don't. Oh, no. Is there another argument in here? Oh, yeah. I was waiting for someone to respond to that, the Unbroken's comment. You smart, funny. I was waiting for that. Anyway, what is this one shit? I'm not gonna. I'm gonna mind my business because every time I get stuck in the chat, then I'm stuck there. Who? Oh, the AC, not AC, the Kiss guitar player, right? Kevin McGrew, right? Is that McGrew? Yeah, Kevin McGrew. Yeah, yeah. I just heard that. I just saw that a few minutes ago. That the guitar player of Kiss passed away at 74. So listen, man, he was old. Listen, after 70, you're on borrowed time. I'm sorry for any 70-year-olds watching, but after 70, man, you're on borrowed time. If you're a healthy 70, then after 75, 80, you're on borrowed time. But yeah, man, after 70, it's any day now. You know, I hit 70, I'm fucking driving everywhere, 101 miles an hour. I'm just fucking doing it up. Because any day now, man, you could just drop dead, you know, after 70. Like, he was so healthy, all of a sudden he's dead. Your heart can give up. Well, listen, you don't all of a sudden die at a certain age. You know, like, if you all of a sudden die at a certain age, there was more going on than you're leading to believe. Right? It's Ace Farrell? Fraley. Ace Fraley. Did I say that right? I'm pretty sure I didn't. Sorry, Johnny threw it away. He said Ace Frehley looked like he died 10 years ago. Holy shit, man. That was fucking good. Robert said, you're on borrowed time from the second you're born. Nope, not necessarily true. After 70, you are. Kiss, yeah. Kiss, yeah. It's funny, like, Kiss wasn't, that whole group wasn't a handsome looking group. They were like nerds that got fucking famous and they got lucky and then they got into some ass. But they were lucky dudes because they knew how to fucking sing, play a guitar, and put some good music together. Outside of that, nope. I always looked at them like when I finally saw like who they were. I'm like, these guys are getting pussy. Okay. Freelay. Okay. He fell and had a brain bleed. No shit. Okay. Well, then that sucks. Then so he sort of went before his time, right? We've been going bananas on these drug vessels out in the, what is it, the Pacific Ocean, right? Is it the Pacific that we've been going bananas on? Been lighting up drug vehicles left and right. Paul Stanley's going to step out of the closet. Why is Paul Stanley gonna? Okay, because he's gay. I get it. Probably so. Who knows? Why do you think they wore makeup? Good one, Aaron. Fair enough. All right. Yeah, he looked like he died 10 years ago. That was a good comment, man. That's gonna stick with me for a while now. Yeah, Kiss was good. I mean, you know, I wasn't a big fan of them until I got older. And when I mean older, I'm probably like my late teens, early 20s. You know. Of course, there were a couple of songs that we all know that we listened to, but I wasn't like a huge fan of them till later. And then even then I wasn't a huge fan. I just liked more their music, you know. Like I'm not really a fan of a lot of groups because I don't want them to disappoint me. So I never want to be a true fan. So, but I like a lot of music. I just don't, you know. I don't put my all into these people. Is what I'm saying. It's anybody out there. I try not to put my all into, you know, unless like we grew up with them or some shit, you know. I wonder how Gene Simmons is going to capitalize on Ace's death. Nice. That's fucking brutal. Fucking chat is brutal today. Very good. I thought it said I went to a T9 concert. I'm like, what? I went to a Kiss concert. All right. I'm looking to get a freeze dryer. I'm going to try to get one here and suck the power out of this fucking building for all it's worth. But I was thinking about getting one here because I don't have too much of a problem with the power issue here. So I think I can get it. I think I can get one here. Not in this room. Obviously in the living room. There's a 220 inside. So I could definitely get away with that here. But anyway, guys, all right, so there's more increased chatter about a possible attack coming to the United States. Multiple locations, multiple sources are stating that it's multiple locations. I don't know if they're all feeding off of Sarah Adams' information or they are individually getting their own information. That I can't speak for. Is everybody at the station on the same page with all of this, or they're living in a daze? Yeah, Road Warrior. Yeah, listen. Something will happen, and guys will ask me my opinion, but I try to tell them certain things, and some guys are like, "You think so?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And other guys, they live in a daze. Like for example, all of everybody that is passing away recently, especially of cancer. A lot of people are, especially at my firehouse anyway, they seem to think that it's like, the water, the air. And I'm like, and of course, they don't know any better. They're retarded. So I give them a pass. But they think it's the water and the air. I'm like, so they're like, but look at the gear. Our gear, our bunker gear has PFAS in it, and the PFAS is on our skin. And apparently, they found out that the PFAS is absorbing into our skin. That's why a lot of us still wear shorts. Some people even wear pants. I was wearing like just my, too much information, just my underwear underneath my bunker pants, but now I don't anymore because of the PFAS shit. So, that is soaking into our bloodstream, if you will. And a lot of guys seem to think it's that. But I'm like, the cops are going through the same thing. PD is going through a hike in cancer rates. They're not wearing bunker gear. So, when I told them that, they were like, well, I said, there's no well. There was only one thing introduced to us 5 years ago. That was it. That's all it is. I said, the fact that you guys think it's the food and the water, our food and water has been bad for decades. There hasn't been an increase in anything other than maybe the air and the spraying of the bullshit in the sky, but that's it. There's PFAS in the underpants. No, there's PFAS in my bunker gear, not underpants, bunker gear. That's the gear we wear to go into fires, right? The protective gear that we wear to go into fires. That stuff has PFAS in it, and the job knows about it. Like the FDNY, they know, and they refuse to get us new gear. Now, supposedly they're trying to, but they're not moving fast enough, and the cancer rate's going to skyrocket before they decide to do something about it. But listen, it is what it is. Anyway, do you think it's pesticides? Do you think it is pesticides? It could be that too. But a lot of people who don't have or deal with Roundup and shit like that, what's their excuse? Listen, people from all walks of life are getting, I don't want to deviate too much into this, but people from all walks of life, guys, are developing Mr. C. All walks of life. So people who live in apartment buildings, people who live in homes, people who live out in the sticks, people, just all over the place are developing cancer, period. Right? And it's not the fucking air. It's not the food. Yes, the food is probably causing a lot of issues, but it's not. Listen, I know a lot of guys in the firehouse now that simultaneously or close together have gotten sick. It is not the food and the water. It's not our bunker gear. You need to sit the pee slow for the yeah. Slowly, yeah. Chemical-free thongs coming soon. Or listen, I didn't. I mean, again, I don't wear. I'm not getting into the underwear sex conversation, but yeah, Monsanto has done this to everyone. Okikon, yes, Monsanto has put a lot of bad shit in food, but there are people who lived a healthy life, but got scared and took the arm ticket, and now they have problems. So it wasn't just Monsanto. It was people who thought that they were, people who thought that they were, doing the right thing by taking some shit they didn't need. Yeah, Sage, the common denominator is the thing that they told people, put this in your arm if you want to go to eat at a restaurant, right? Do other people use your bed at the firehouse when you want there? For the doggies, we have bunks. Yes, so it's like the military. Yeah, it's just like that. As far as bunks go, and even then, as of the last few years, we rarely use that because we're running around like all night with bullshit, but we're running around all night. AP wears Speedo drawers. Anyway, where do I live? I live in New York. If you're asking me sunny days, I live in New York City. Yeah, listen, it's bizarre to me that people don't want to. You know what? I get why people don't want to make that connection to the boost juice, right? They don't want to make that connection because they took it. And now they have to look at themselves in the mirror every day wondering if they're going to all of a sudden pass away. I mentioned one thing about my underwears, and it turns into a fucking free for all in a chat. Combination of chemicals, a little from the undies, a little from the food, a dash of mashed up plastic. Boom, very good. I like that one. Very good. These, that was good. But yeah, it's the catalyst, and yes, it is the catalyst. And I don't understand what is turnout gear. Turnout gear is bunker gear. Bunker gear and turnout gear are one and the same. It's the uniform or protective gear we wear to go into fires. Right? Does that make sense? So when you watch that stupid show, what was that? Chicago FD or Chicago Fire? For those of you that watch it, that gear is bunker gear or turnout gear, and that gear we go into fires. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. You put that gear on, and you're by like a room that's lit up. There's a night and day difference, man. It's you like a human couldn't stand that close to a fire if you didn't have the bunker gear on. Carbon Q, thank you for joining us tonight. No, he pre-records this and is responding to the live chat. Very good. Right, so firefighting pants and coat. Thank you, PAMT. Exactly. Well, backdraft is a little different, Brian. Backdraft, they had turnout jackets and boots, rubber boots, right? That were fire retardant. So not retarded, retardant, and that was a little different. They were talking about going back to turnout jackets or turnout coats and boots, but I know a couple of places did that. They went back to it because bunker gear, we're in fires too long. That's the other problem. Because we're so bundled up and we're heavily protected, we tend to stick in those rooms or those areas a little longer. Says when you say pure blood, you're admitting you didn't take the jab. It's going into your digital identity. They already have something out there, Sunny Days. Somebody was talking about it. It might have been on Twitter. And all your information being collected for everything we do right now. Everything we do moving forward is being collected. And it's being put into the system, whether we like it or not. Yes, we won't abide to the digital ID system, but our digital ID is already being collected, if you will, whether we like it or not. And every time there's a new system in play or a new app or some new bullshit and we download it to our phones, we are accepting the fact that our data is being collected for this new system. Whether, again, against our will. Now, whether or not we abide to it is a different story. Whether or not we walk around with that digital ID is a different story. But as of right now, your shit's being collected. Simple as that. Do you get a bulletproof vest when you're going on assignments? For the doggies, no, we don't get a bulletproof vest. We're firefighters, man. We dodge bullets. No, we don't get bulletproof vest. Aaron, so somebody talked about something happening next week, some kind of event, and a lady was talking about a financial move that was just made, in part with Trump paying off the military, they used some kind of assets that she states if you use this asset, you're desperate. Banks are desperate. And it was some kind of asset. It was like a marketing asset or some shit like that. And when she said that, I go, again, I'm not a financial guy, but when she said that, she goes, they use that to pay the military off, the soldiers to get their checks. She goes, that's a big red flag. She goes, there's a problem coming. And she did a whole video on it. I saw it on X, and I was like, oh shit. Again, I don't know, you know? Okikon, every action, every comment you make, every gesture you make on the cameras is being collected. Everything. Right? So, again, keep that in mind. It's all being collected. Your facial expressions, your tempo, your walking pattern. Supposedly, the next iWatch is able to, according to them, the AI in the watch can pick up on your gait and as you walk and knows when you're walking and running and could accurately count your steps, which I think is cool, but yeah, it's learning way too much about us. Doritos. Yeah, I like Doritos. I know Doritos are poisonous. They're the worst for you, but they're so good. It's like once you have one Dorito chip, it is game fucking over, man. Game over. I'm toast. What is the best kind of fire extinguisher for your home? Go with an ABC fire extinguisher, right? That puts out A, B, and C fires, which are combustible, flammable liquids, and like wood. A would be wood and stuff. And I think C is combustible metals. If I'm not, no, D is combustible metals. No, C is combustible metals. Excuse me, ABCs. There is a D, and D is for, I look it up right now. I forgot what D was for, but I did a whole video on this years ago, and nobody watched it because no one cares. I don't want to do this now. I forgot what there's A, B. Sorry, C is electrical fire. B is flammable liquid. A is ordinary combustibles like wood and paper. D is for combustible metals like magnesium and shit like that used to be in cars. You know, if a car caught fire, there'd be that white glow. That's magnesium. And D, yes, thank you, Joseph Decker. D is foam. So there is if you have D in your home, you shouldn't. K is specifically for grease, but you can use a fire extinguisher, C, for flammable liquids as well. You can get away with it, but you got to know how to hit it. You got to know how to hit it. But yes, I heard it, and K is normally used in restaurants. You shouldn't have K either. But you can use an ABC extinguisher on grease fire as well. You just can't directly aim it at it. You got to come down on it like a feathering technique, if you will, or like a light snow technique if you're going to put it on there. You can't directly aim it at it. But yes, I forgot about K. Thank you for bringing that up, first and last. And I've used, we've used water on combustible metals, but to use water on combustible metals, you need, and I quote, a copious amount of water to do so. Right? You can't use a fire extinguisher with water to do that. It's just going to piss it off. You need a copious amount of water to do it. With lithium batteries, should you have, you should have a fire extinguisher, yes. I wouldn't say a D. D is hard to come by. And I don't think they sell D commercially, excuse me. You could buy ABC fire, and that's going to buy you time to get out of the situation. You're not going to put the fire out, a lithium fire out with a ABC fire extinguisher, but you are going to give yourself a window to get out. I've been to enough of those. Those are bad, and the smoke from that lithium battery fire, the smoke is extremely bad. Copious amount, not a copious amount of water. Fuck a fire blanket. Fire blankets, I've heard they work for like grease fires and shit, right? You throw them over, smother the fire. I've heard that, but I've never used one. I don't think I would use one. Yes, that's why again you use a lot of water for those magnesiums fires. I've only seen a couple like the old cars in car fires when they burn and you see that glow. You're like, oh, we got magnesium, and you got to keep dumping water on it until it cools off. Unfortunately, right? And it's more than what's in the fire engine, right? So fire engine I think is 500 gallons of water, and it's more than that. You need like an endless amount to cool it off till it stops glowing. I don't think a lithium, Laura, I don't think a fire blanket will help with a lithium fire. I'm not sure. Yes, a lot of water, exactly, PAMT. Right, but you can use a fire blanket on, yes, a barbecue grill, a grease fire, that's fine. But a lithium battery, I don't know. I doubt it very much because those things burn differently. Wisco Pyro. I have not seen. I've heard. Actually, Sarita was telling me about gold, or rather silver, going up. She did mention that, but I don't focus on that. That's not my wheelhouse. I have not been paying attention to the price of gold and silver. Well, yeah, PAMT, ferro rods, exactly. They have magnesium in them. And fizz, yeah. Listen, guys, if you can look up lithium battery fires on like Twitter or some shit like that, look it up. How fast those things go up, especially in the middle of the day. Those are fast, man. I mean, those are bad, and not for nothing. Those are the fires we like to go to. At least I like to go to. I'm all about it. Um, Durgan said lithium batteries don't require external oxygen. Again, that's it. They burn hot. I think they would burn through those fire blankets. I've watched a lot of these things burn. No dice. But yeah, he confirmed it. Is that how you say them? Dungurian? Dungurian. Whatever. Um, yeah, they're no dice. Lithium was an awful idea for battery. I guess, man. I don't know. Gold and silver is up because the dollar's going down. City Prepper, somebody had mentioned that last week or early this week in the chat. They said that. Or was it last night? Somebody mentioned it and I saw that and I was like, no shit. 12 years? Okay. Yeah, I don't have a fire extinguisher. I don't even have a fire smoke I don't have a smoke detector either. Only because I keep smoking out my apartment when I make steak. But the fire extinguisher, I don't need it. I know enough to put a fire out on my own without having to fucking, use a fire extinguisher. I had a fire extinguisher. I had to throw it out because it was old. And I keep saying, I'm going to get a new one. Listen, if you live in a home, like I live in a concrete building, the fires that are going to happen in here are not going to spread anywhere. If I lived in a home, I would have a fire extinguisher on every floor, if not every room. Now, obviously, not the kids' room if they're too young, because kids always do dumb shit. But I would have a fire extinguisher if I was a 3-story home with a basement, so 2-story home with a basement. I would have a fire extinguisher in the basement. I would have a fire extinguisher on the first floor, main floor. And I would have a fire extinguisher upstairs. Absolutely. I wouldn't. I would have, like 3 to 4 fire extinguishers in my home if I lived in a home. I live in an apartment. I'm not worried about it spreading. These apartments are brick walls. The only problem with this kind of, and I barely have any furniture in this apartment anymore, so there's nothing for it to really burn either. But there are people's apartments that are cluttered with shit, and these kind of apartments, as you can see, like the wall behind me, these kind of apartments turn into ovens. I think a financial crash has to come for the digital ID or digital dollar replacement to occur. A financial disaster has to happen for that. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Something cataclysmic has to happen for us to be on board with this shit. How do you put a burning lithium battery in a bag? You don't. You put it in a barrel. And you don't put it out burning. You have to put it out first. And then you put it into the firefighter. There's a special unit of firefighters that respond to lithium fire batteries. And they put it in this barrel. And this barrel is like this dust sand material. And the dust sand material is actually fiberglass. And when they put it in there, the fiberglass melts to the device and smothers it, right? So, and that's why they tell us don't breathe this shit in. Don't breathe in that compound, that fiberglass sand shit, and don't breathe in the lithium battery smoke because it's bad for your lungs. Went to a fire a couple months ago. It was a lithium battery fire. Sand barrels, yes, but the sand has a mixture in it of fiberglass. Anyway, we go to this fire, and we put the lithium battery is smoking. It wouldn't stop, and we were putting a ton of water on it, and we were all in the hallway, like trying to get this thing out, and it just wouldn't stop. It just wouldn't stop. So we had to drag it downstairs out in the open, and we dumped more water on it. It just wouldn't fucking go out, man. It took forever. And then they were able to separate it from the bike, and they put it into that sand solution thing. And then it stopped. It went out. So, pee on it, you'll be fine. Yeah, go ahead. Kitty litter or some good kitty litter. I don't know about that. I wouldn't put kitty litter on. I mean, you probably could get away with kitty litter. I don't know. That's a good one to try. I'm not part of that unit, so I don't know. All we know is that we put a lot of water on it, and we try to get the battery out of the environment. That's my job. That's our job. The other unit shows up and they do all of that special shit with it, right? They're like, oh, we're going to put it in sand and do this, that, and the third. But anyway, we got 15 minutes left. Let me go down what could happen, right? So again, guys, I told you Laura Loomer has been dropping hits and cryptic messages as to what's coming our way. Sarah Adams is another one. I don't trust her because she was trying to sell a book. All right, so I always keep that in the back of my head. What might happen? Now, this is just my theory as to what's going to happen and how it can happen. Some of it is plausible, some of it might be outlandish, but just listen and bear with me for the next 17 minutes or whatever it is. Anyway, communication attack is going to hinder 911 system. That is going to be the first thing to happen before the actual attack happens. Again, this is all theory. Russell, yes, I've been hearing this for a few years, actually longer than 10 years. Bernard Couric, who was the NYPD commissioner at one point, he talked about this happening. All right, so anyway, communication attack is gonna occur first. That's gonna hinder the 911 system. Now, because of AI, supposedly there's going to be a flood of 911 AI calls, putting in fake emergencies that police are going to respond to. And they're going to flood the system so much that outside callers such as us wouldn't be able to get through to 911 if something actually goes down. Now, that can happen first as a test run. I think we will probably see that within the next couple of months as a test run to see whether or not it works. So after having the police go on a wild goose chase to calls that do not exist, I don't know what those calls are going to range from. I don't know if those are going to be police officer shot, or I tripped and stepped over an old person, or I tripped and I bumped my head on my stove kind of shit. I don't know. An attack is probably going to start unfolding simultaneously throughout the country. So this 911 attack is probably going to happen throughout the country simultaneously, followed by an actual attack. Men with various weapons. Now, the attack is going to unfold throughout the country while police are going on wild goose chase for phantom phone calls. People will try to call 911, but they will not get any answers because the system will be completely flooded with AI forced 911 calls. While the police, men with weapons of various types, I think AR-15s and M4s, will be taking people out on the subways, city streets, and possibly stadium events. Now, why did I say M4s and AR-15s? Bear with me. So now, as that unfolds, a subway attack, which is going to be brutal, some trains are going to have their emergency braking system tripped. The brakes are going to be pulled in the subway system or in the tunnels where people now can't run anywhere. This guy or people will be on the train with a weapon, letting shots fly as they're stuck in a tunnel and have nowhere to run. Now, people are going to be stampeding one another to get away from this psycho, and people are going to also die by way of getting trampled or crushed to death. Again, this is all theory. Someone is going to start firing those rounds into the crowd, and then people will not be able to escape, except for they'll probably be able to jump. They'll probably be able to go between cars and jump out of there. That's like the only way it's here. On a subway platform, there might be another attack with somebody waiting on a platform to take out other people on the platform. There might even be a device of some kind letting go, creating more damage, more casualties, and more chaos, right? And that device is probably going to be on the subway platform, maybe on a train, maybe on a bus. And when that device goes, you're going to have more casualties. Now, at a street level, there's going to be multiple attacks throughout the city at multiple locations. So in each city, there'll probably be multiple attackers, anywhere upwards of 10 shooters per area. Per area. Not per city. That's not a lot. But per area. So Times Square, they'll have 10. Financial District, they'll have 10. Harlem, 10. Right? And it depends on where in Harlem. Most likely 125th Street if they go that far. Again, there would be 10 shooters per area of the city. And they'll most likely have devices throughout the city as well, causing more chaos, more confusion. Don't give them ideas. Yeah. Listen, they already have these ideas. These ideas have been spoken about for a few years. Some of them are my own. Again, I'm shooting from the hip, man. That's all. Shooting from the hip with this. Let's see. Where else are we? So now, this is where things get really interesting. So supposedly there are actual reports of uniforms of first responders being bought online, right? So those online stores that sell like firefighter uniforms or police badges and all that other shit, those are being sold online. Supposedly these guys are buying this equipment, gear, and uniforms to create more confusion. Okay, so this will really confuse a lot of people as they're looking for help running towards the fake first responders. The fake first responders then start letting the people have it, right? Ding, 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 ding. And as these people are getting for help, bullets are ripping through their bodies, and they're like, I thought you were here to help, right? And then they die in that manner. So this will cause, again, more chaos, more fear throughout the entire country now. Once they start getting reports of first responders or people dressed like first responders letting people have it, this is going to get bad. Right? It's going to get even worse. It's going to create more fear, and it's going to create more chaos. People will undoubtedly panic, looking for their loved ones, calling up their loved ones. They might even go into the city to try to get their loved ones out, and this is going to trigger a nationwide lockdown. Cities will go into lockdown automatically. Bridges and tunnels will be blocked off without a doubt. Now, who's going to be blocking that off? Could be the bad guys dressed in police uniform, or it could actually be police or National Guards. National Guardsmen can also be faked as well, so you have to worry about that. Who knows, man? Just hand me the M249. Nice. The saw. He's like, just hand me the saw. He says, I can get to work. Listen, all of this is on the table, and all of this is being discussed, and some of this has been discussed for years. All right. There will be automatic response of National Guards flooding the cities to take to the perpetrators, or take on the perpetrators. They will ultimately authorize the Army and Marines to help out in this fight, because I don't think National Guards are going to cut it. Of course, After this is all said and done, the dust settles. Of course, new laws are going to go into effect and be created and passed for the safety of the people. These new laws, guys, are going to undoubtedly infringe on more of our freedoms, including the Second Amendment and First Amendment. Why the First Amendment? Well, they're going to start searching social media for any kind of leads or evidence to suggest that this event was going to be carried out and how people were going to agree and help out with this event. So they're going to restrict our freedom even more. The Second Amendment is going to be under attack because these perpetrators are going to have M4s or AR-15s, and they're going to restrict those weapons like you wouldn't believe if the perpetrators actually use those weapons. I could tell you this, I don't think they're going to use AKs. They're going to use American weapons that's going to restrict our freedom even more. That's the kind of shit that I see coming our way. Anyway, though these attackers are clearly going to be of an Arab descent, this is going to trace back across the border and going to trace back to countries over in the Middle East. And then the blame game is going to start, and they're going to blame the Biden administration for allowing these people to come across the border illegally. They're going to blame the Biden administration for such atrocities that unfolded, right? Get your own. And yes, PAEMT says be your own first responder. You are. That's why you need to have a good medical first aid kit or a good trauma kit. Now, first aid kit, guys, have Band-Aids and all that gay bullshit in there, Mercure Cone or whatever, if they even use that anymore, sorry. Little spray for your scrape. That's fucking first aid gay shit. We're talking about trauma kits with, tourniquets, bandages. I mean, a lot of bandages, stop bleeding material. All of that stuff is in a trauma kit. And they make trauma kits fairly small. Right, I have one in here. This is a Refuge Medical trauma kit, right there. Whoops, sorry. I don't know why I did that. This is a trauma kit right here. This is, you can see shears, tourniquet, and then there's gear in here. You should definitely look into Refuge Medical. They sell really good trauma kit. If not, Skinny Medic also sells them as well. Right, but this is something that you're probably going to want to go with. Right, see this handle? Make sure that you grab this so that you can pull it out as such, and make sure you don't throw your fucking shear across the floor. But anyway, this is what it looks like inside. This is what you want your trauma kit to look like, right? And there's a bunch of shit in here. I have a video. You're going to have to look for it. Looking under gear review, I reviewed this as well, right? This is good shit to have. This is the kind of shit that you're going to want to have in your trauma kit. All right, I put the rest of it away. But that's something you're going to want to have, and they have bigger ones as well. So, again, keep that in mind, guys. When you're looking for a first aid kit, look at a trauma kit that's built like a first aid kit. When I mean compact, right? So anyway, guys, they will suggest that the easiness of acquiring these weapons here in this country is why they have to restrict our Second Amendment even more. They're going to use that excuse. Again, and they're probably going to take guns away altogether. Now, that's possibly going to lead to a civil war. Because if they start trying to take our weapons away, they take more of our free speech. Yeah. There is a video on your setup. Yes, if you go under my gear review, if you go under my channel and you go under the folders, whatever it is, right, you can see my playlist. Go into my playlist, look under gear review on my playlist, and you should see this and a couple of others under there. You should be able to see a couple of those first aid kits or trauma kits under there. All right, so yes, I do have a video of the setup. Just check the videos out, and we'll see. That's Bear. Right, so Bear Independent, makes these things. Right, his company makes them. Refuge Medical, right? He makes these things. These things are pretty cool. I like to own them all just because they look pretty cool. Am I going to use it? Probably in the near future, the way things are going. Who knows, man? Trauma kit does not equal first aid kit. No, it doesn't. Jason, trauma kit, can you put website? Thanks. Gear review. Anna. Yeah, so yeah, if you look on the gear review, you'll find that. And I have the link for the gear in the videos. So you can go on Bear's website and order these things. And yes, PAEMT, thank you for bringing it up. Refuge Medical offers free online training. It is better to go to his training courses in person. Any training course, guys, that needs hands-on, it's always better to go to those courses in person. I am a big fan of that. You can only do so much online training until you have to do it for real, right? You know, and when you do it in person, you get better understanding of how it works. But yeah, you shall definitely try it out. Do the online training at first. Gregorio, thank you for the 4-minute heads up. Appreciate it. You should definitely do the online training first, but I would undoubtedly say try to join one of his classes. It's way better, man. It's way better to go in person, learn how to use everything, learn how to use it under pressure or under stress. Excuse me. But yeah, I would like to do that kind of training course at least here on the East Coast, but you know, they don't like to train people who are in states like New York or some crazy shit like that, you know. But yeah, I would like to definitely hold a training course like that, you know, here in New York State or states like New York, because I'm over here. They're out in the Midwest. They have a group that travels. They had 3-4 people that traveled around, but why stretch them thin, right? So their online training course, take that, and if you really like their online training course, transition over to doing the live course. I hope they don't break in your house and hijack all your belongings. I don't think so. Good luck trying here. Yeah? By the way, brown sugar also helps control bleeding. Does brown sugar? Because I know, does. Capsaicin can, though it burns like hell. And what's the other one? The powder, the red one. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Not turmeric, the other one. Begins with a C. Cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper also slows down bleeding. Cayenne pepper is good for that. And then there's another oil that does it as well. I can't remember the name of that oil, but it's an herbal oil you can put on a wound, and it slows the bleeding down dramatically. But I can't remember that. Unos minutos. Thank you. Yeah, cayenne pepper. All right. All right, guys. So anyway, that's it for this live stream. I'm gonna jump over to the Angry Truth. We're gonna talk about Tyler Robbins not doing it or not being the shooter, and why. There was something that just came up that's starting to circulate the internet, so it's making things a lot more interesting, and it's even lending to the fact that, you know, he didn't do it. It's not Yarrow. It's not. Cayenne's one of it. It was another. It was a specific. Might have been Yarrow is one of them. Sorry, but there was another one, another oil that helped out. I just can't remember for the life of me. But Yarrow is another one. Yes, it is. You're right about that. But it's not the one I was thinking of. It wasn't. It was another essential oil, but it wasn't. It wasn't Yarrow. And this survivalist told me about it. He said he used it on a guy that got severely cut and it slowed his bleeding down like you wouldn't believe. Not Diddy's oil either. That's bad shit. But anyway, other than that, guys, thank you for joining me today. I will see a lot of you guys on the Angry Truth channel. I'll see the rest of you guys next week for the double header. Let's see. Next Tuesday, I shall be on. Next Tuesday night, I shall be on for the double header. All right, guys. Other than that, thank you for joining me. Thank you for thank you for joining me on my video. Thank you for dealing with my bullshit. And I will see you guys next week, and I'll see some of you guys in a couple of minutes. Thank you.